Welcome to Allotment UK in East Sussex on the first week of February 2020. Weather's not been too bad this week. We've been getting a heavy frost in the morning with some brilliant sunrise. It's still pretty damp out on the plot. What have we been doing this week? Well, basically we've followed on from last week. We've continued making the gate and we've completed putting the wood chip into the rabbit fence. So let's get on with showing you what I've been doing. So it's back into the shed, then into the garden to assemble the frame, and then out onto the plot to test it, to see if it fits the opening and to finish off the wood chip. So I'll catch you later. Forming the tenons and the mortises was completed in the last upload, so now what we've got to do is put the frame together. But before I can do that, there's 2 or 3 jobs that have got to be completed, and one of them is rounding the tops. Now it's not necessary to round the tops. You need to shape them though, to give it some life against rain, and you could angle the corners, you could put a cap on, you could point it. It's purely aesthetic, but I like round because it's good for the hands, when you're opening the gate and you don't get sharp corners. So I'm going for round. Only problem is I've got 4x2 material. The material is what is existing, and that is the rule in making the gate. I form a gate with whatever material is available, and a gate is either inviting or it says, "Oh, don't come in here, it's private." So general appearance does matter, and it doesn't cost anything. It's just how you put it together, and it's what's called design. Now when using the plane, the tip is that you do it at an angle, 45 degrees, so it slices across the grain. If you went straight at the top with the grain, it would split. Okay, so you slice it, and then when you get in near to the curve, you then go in a circular motion, and again it slices, but it gives you an accurate cut, which is quick and easy. The second thing that we've got to do is we've got to make some wedges. We need wedges to put it together, and I like to put the paint on the wedges, and it can dry so I don't get it on the hand. So we'll do the wedges about now. Well, what we'll do is we'll paint the inside edges into the mortise itself, and then we'll form the wedges, and while the paint is out we'll paint the wedges, and that can be drying while we're putting together the general frame. Just prior to making the wedges, I have to smooth off the round tops. The wedges have been made from a tenon which I formed from a scrap piece of timber to set up the overhead saw. Paint is now drying, and while it's drying we set out the pieces on the pattern that we made earlier to ensure that when we start putting it together they're in the right order. The mortise and tenons are then inserted. cramped up. While I am cramping up the bottom rail, I would like to point out I would normally rip down this rail to the thickness of 1 tenon plus 1 haunch to take the infill in. 4x2 in its depth is too large for my circular saw unless I remove the riving knife. This is a safety issue, so I will have to find an alternative. Furthermore, you will not observe me using a square on the frame assembly. This is because the resultant gate opening have the posts not plumb. Not being concreted in, they are subject to earth movement, which is normal in clay soils, and it's known as clay heave. The pattern that I drew on my sheet of ply is a copy of the actual opening. Wedges hammered in, starting at the extreme corners first. After which the sticky out bits of the wedges and the tenons is then cut off. We then match the gate with the pattern to see if it matches, which it does, but the only real test is to take it to site and measure it or match it to the actual opening. And another reason for doing it at this time is before we do the infilling. We don't want to have any unnecessary work or make life difficult for ourselves. So, off we go. The first thing I do when I arrive on the plot is go view the onions. Not happy how they look a bit wilted to me. I don't know whether this is a lack of water or whether it's the heat from the sun, the polytunnel, or whether it's a lack of food, but we'll have to wait and see. I had bags of wood chip in the car, so those were unloaded and deposited, which took most of the time in the afternoon. The gate was positioned, and if I had not known any better, I would say that it had been tailored to fit. I turned the gate over with the hinged end on the opposite side, and then I levelled the height across, and hopefully when it gets turned back again and fixed with the hinges, the top will be level and the bottom will clear the grass and bumps in the ground. And then a view from the outside looking in. The gate was taken back to the shed where I started doing the infill, but time has run out, or should I say my self-imposed time limit on a video of 10 minutes has now overrun. So the infilling of the gate will have to remain till next week. This now leaves me to say, hope you've enjoyed this video, found it informative. If you liked it, thumbs up would be nice. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, and to get notification of the next upload, please ring that bell. That leaves me to say is take care, bye. Oh, a postscript. All the way through the videoing of this A-roll, Stone Kyra, C-I-A-R-A, Kyra has been blowing full tilt. Bye.